In this video, you are going to learn how to calculate the volume of a cylinder. As you can see from this picture, a cylinder is made up of two circles. So each, the top and the bottom have a circle. And then it has the curved part that wraps around the cylinder. So we've talked about how when you're calculating the volume of a rectangular prism, we can take the area of the base and we're going to multiply it times the height, because basically you're figuring out how many cubic inches or whatever you're dealing with are in the bottom layer, and then you multiply it by the height because that's saying how many layers you have. So the same thing happens when you're trying to find the volume of a cylinder. What we want to figure out is how many are in that bottom layer, and this bottom layer or this base is a circle. So the formula for volume of a circle or volume of a cylinder is volume equals base times height. So this is something you're going to want to copy down, and this is the formula that you will see on the 7th grade MCA sheet as well. So volume is the area of the base. So if we look at the base is a circle. So to figure out the area of the base, we're going to use that circle formula. So the area of the base is going to be pi r squared, like we've done when we just did a circle. So you're going to be taking pi r squared, and then that's going to be times the height. So really what you'll be doing to figure out the volume is you're going to take the area of the base, pi r squared, times the height. And that's going to be your final answer for volume of a cylinder. So let's try one of these together. So we have a cylinder here and we're supposed to calculate the volume. So if I look at what's labeled, the 4.2 right here, that's going to be the height, so how tall it is. The 5, you can see that is labeling a portion of the circle, and it is going halfway through that circle, and that means that that 5 is going to be our radius. So I'm going to say r equals 5. So I'm going to write down the formula that we're using. So V equals base times height, keeping in mind that this base is pi equals r squared. So I'm going to go and write pi r squared, which is the base, times height. And now let's fill in the numbers that we know. So pi, we're going to be using 3.14. And then the radius is 5. So I'm just going to plug that 5 into the formula, and it's going to be 5 squared. And then I will take that times the height, which is 4.2. So then if I go to my calculator, I'm going to be taking 3.14 times 5 squared. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. And then times 4.2. So my answer that I'm going to get for the volume is 329.7. And we talked about how when you calculate volume, the answer is going to be in cubic meters. So how many cubic meters would fit inside of that? So I'm going to label it with the 3 for the exponent. So here's another one. I can see from the labels, I have 21 for the height. So I know my height is 21. And then you do have to make sure that you think about what is that 16. So it's going all the way across the circle. So that's going to mean that the 16 is my diameter. So my formula, V equals B times H, that B is the pi r squared. I'm going to have to know the radius. So as you know, the radius is half of the diameter. So I'm going to have to take half of 16. So that is 8. So the radius will be 8. So let's plug it in. We're going to do pi times radius squared. So pi times 8 squared. And then times the height, which is how many layers we're going to have. So times 21. So same deal, I'm going to go to my calculator. 3.14 times 8 squared, which is 64. And then times 21. And my answer for this one is 4,220.16. And that, this one doesn't have a label. It doesn't say inches or meters or anything like that. So if that's the case, Sometimes you just see it as units cubed. I can't get the S there. You get the idea. So, so just making sure that we have that 3 as in our label. So this one says, a storage tank is shaped like a cylinder. Calculate how many cubic meters the tank holds. So one thing I do want to point out about this is, like, this one doesn't, in the problem, it never says volume. So sometimes you're going to get a problem like this where it doesn't say calculate the volume. But right here, if it's going to say, if it's going to say cubic meters, that should give you a clue right there that you're going to be calculating the volume, because cubic means volume. So what I want you to do is you're going to try this one on your own first. So you're going to pause the video, and then using the illustration below, go ahead and calculate the volume by yourself just to see how you do. Once you've had a moment to complete it, then you can turn the video back on and see how you did. All right, so go ahead and compare your work to what I have here. So you can see I said this is the radius, so 12 is the radius because it's halfway across the circle. 9 is my height, and then I plugged it into the formula. So pi times the radius, 12 squared. So this is my pi r squared, area of the circle, and then times my height. Multiply that all together, get 4,069.44, and then it is cubic meters. Same thing, I want you to try this one again on your own. I think that this is something that you should be getting the hang of, and I think it's good to try it on your own first. So this one is, you don't have the picture. So it says a cylinder has a diameter of 18 inches and a height of 7 inches. Calculate the volume of the cylinder. So you could do a quick sketch if that's helpful for you. Otherwise, just use the information to help you find the volume of this cylinder. Again, stop the video, do the work on your own, and then once you're done, turn the video back on to see how you did. All right, you can see here that I did a quick sketch. Obviously, my drawing here is not the best. The cylinder, kind of hard for me to do. You know, I'm not like the best drawer ever, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this is probably my 3rd or 4th attempt to make it look normal. It's a little tricky to draw on a computer, but anyway, you get the idea. So I labeled all the way across the circle because it had said that it's a diameter of 18, so that's what this is, the diameter all the way across. Here's my height. When I look at my formula, pi times radius squared, I didn't put this 18 in because that's my diameter. I had to use the radius of 9, so I had to take half of 18. And then times the height, and then plug it into your calculator. 3.14 times 9 squared, which is 81, times 7. And my answer would be 1,780.38. And made a mistake here, just caught it, gonna fix it. I put a 2, which is not the correct one. I am going to change that to a, whoopsies, let's see, change it to a 3. You get the idea. So I did catch that mistake. So that's how you are going to find the volume of a cylinder. To sum it up, you take the area of the base, and in this case it is a circle, and multiply it times the height, and that's going to give you the volume.